And a warm welcome along. We've been rather snowed under last week here in the UK. My God, we can't deal with snow here, you know. We really can't. The entire country comes to a halt, schools close and everything. But I mean, it's only a few days of the year, isn't it? You know, I mean, why on earth do we worry? It's not like Russia or Poland or somewhere like that, that the snow comes down, you've got ice on the ground for weeks and weeks and weeks. It used to be like that here in the 1970s. Anyone old enough who's here in the UK, remember in the 70s or before that even, of course, those of you that are older, do you remember the weeks and weeks of ice on the pavement? Whether you're in the town or indeed snow in the fields if you're out in the country. Weeks and weeks of it. I certainly remember going to school and having to trudge through the ice with my shoes and the slush that would be there on the way home. We had so much fun in the snow. Did you? We used to, blimey, we used to go down these, there was a particular hill actually, in a place my mum and dad used to take us out to, Richmond Park, which is in Surrey. It's kind of, it's this beautiful park, and it's full of deers and wildness and ferns and trees, a couple of ponds in there as well. Mum and dad used to take us there quite often. In later years, in my teenage years, I used to take my bike round there. Used to cycle all the way around Richmond Park, which was it was quite a distance actually, quite a distance. Richmond Park. Can I just turn my lights down a bit? Just a second now, 1 minute. I'm going to turn that because I think I got my lights up too brightly. It was burning holes in my eyes. Can you imagine that? Turning it on next time and I've got no eyes. It's just two black holes there. It'd be something like something out of a horror movie, wouldn't it? Anyway, so I used to cycle around this park. And it took, I suppose, about 45 minutes an hour. And it was a particular hill that was really steep. And actually, I can't remember if I used to try cycling up it. Or I used to actually get off the bike and drive up it. There was a speed limit there of 30 mile an hour, which I never achieved on my bicycle, I must say. But they reduced that a couple of years ago to 20 mile an hour. And believe me, driving somewhere for any distance at 20 mile an hour is blooming hard. It really is. I suppose it saved lives and, I don't know, and perhaps deer being knocked over and that sort of thing. But it seems ever so slow to me, 20 mile an hour. Does it you? Anyway, going back to when, I always remember a particular occasion when there was snow there. And Mum and Dad took myself and my sister Sharon over to the park to this particular hill. Obviously not on the road bit, but there was a grass area that was like among the trees, and it was very, very steep. And you come past the trees and then you're into kind of open ground. And we climbed up the top of this hill, and I had this red plastic sledge, which still to this day survives. It was very, I mean, it was very basic. Nothing special. It was just a red plastic sledge. And that must be now over 40 years old, this sledge. It's got to be, or near enough 40 years old. It still survives today. It's over at my sister's house, and I do believe my nephew uses it when it's snowy. And I remember jumping on this sledge. I can't remember if my sister Sharon was in front of me or not. And off we went down this hill. And the thing is with sledges, they go much faster, I think, than you expect them to. And we're hurtling down this hill. And suddenly in front of us is this tree. And you know, in that split second, you have to decide what you have to try and do. And I think in the end, I actually rolled up. No, I think I was on my own. I don't think my sister was there. I actually rolled off the sledge, and the sledge went crashing into this tree, and I sort of just missed it. So really dangerous. Unfortunately, people do die through accidents like this. And there was a little girl here in England I think it was last week or the week before last, when we had the snow, and she was coming down a similar hill like that, but there were no trees. And she came hurtling down this hill. A lot of other children were on the hill at the same time. I'm afraid she was just unlucky. And she came hurtling down this hill. And then there's a bit more, you know, a little bit more at the end of the hill, which you always think to yourself, well, I'll stop there. Well, she didn't stop. And unfortunately, she went straight through this I believe it was a barbed wire fence. And then carried on further to a fence at the bottom, and she died. Very, very sad, and your heart has to go out to that family, doesn't it? All they wanted was a little bit of fun in the afternoon, but I do think sometimes, I'm sure health and safety will get the gist of this one, and they'll start clamping down. But the thing is, you can't. It's very sad that a child died like that, but you can't stop little people doing these things. You know, there's probably an awful lot now that I used to do as a child that you wouldn't be allowed to do anymore. You can't wrap everything in a nice soft duvet and protect children against everything and anything that there is to protect them from. It's ludicrous. But very, very sad for that child. I'm sure she's not the only one, and probably other people that... It's the only one I heard about on the news, but there were probably plenty of other people. Usually, the little ones just escape with little cuts and bruises, which are easily healed, aren't they? But if there were adults, of course there were adults in that area where that little girl was, surely someone must have seen that barbed wire fence at the bottom and realised that if something goes wrong, that sledge is going to go straight into that fence. There must have been, my guess is there were other children that crashed into the fence but weren't so unlucky. So very, very sad that. A warm welcome along to you. This is Chris Reardon with today's United Kingdom Talk. We could call it the whiteout party, really, because we really have so much snow here. It's a job to walk through it, isn't it? Now, last week, I told you I'm back on the swimming again. Unfortunately, last week I only went once. Now, the only reason for that is that I just didn't have the time last week. I now do something once every couple of weeks, and I have to go to London for that, and this is something I have to do. And when I do it, that's like a day. You know, if you go to London in the afternoon, early afternoon, anything past, well, you can't really go. It's difficult for me to go to London in the morning because of the traffic that all goes in there. But you go early afternoon, any time after early afternoon, and that is a day event. You know, it's a whole day. So I lost the Tuesday last week. On the Wednesday, you catch up with what you should have done Tuesday at home, sort of thing, and a bit of Wednesday. And on the Thursday, you do everything you should do on a Thursday and the other bit of Wednesday. Do you see what I mean? It's all very complicated. Very complicated. So I only got to the swimming pool once last week, which upset me, really. But as I say, we had an awful lot of snow, and I went down the shops a couple of times. If I don't go swimming, I try and do something else, just to have the exercise. And the supermarket right up the road, it isn't exactly a walk round the corner job. It's like, you know, it's 20-25 minute walk there at a reasonable pace. So last week I thought, I was running out of time, so I thought I'll cycle. No, what was it I did now? I walked up there. So I walked up there. Isn't it difficult walking in snow and slush and ice? And it doesn't half make a difference what trainers you have on. I've got 2 pairs of trainers downstairs. Both of them are about 2 years up. Oh, we don't buy things. I told you before. We don't buy things unless absolutely necessary. I've got 2 pairs of trainers downstairs. They're both the same make, but it makes a huge difference which pair I wear to whether I slip over or not. Actually, I've managed to not slip over at all, but there's been some close calls there. I've got the ones with a really big tread on the bottom. They're not too bad. But I've got another pair, and I think possibly what it is, it's quite I haven't looked, but it's quite the only time I look at the bottom of my trainers is when I've trod in some dog or cat dirt. Oh, isn't that awful? Oh, the smell. And what about when you get in the car, okay, on a very cold day, and you don't realise that you've actually trod in some cat or dog dirt, okay? So you've got in the car, and you're driving along, no problem, and you turn the heater on in the car, and you direct the heat at your feet, and you're driving along, like, where's that coming from, you know? And what's happened, of course, is that the cat or dog dirt that was frozen when you got in the car is now thawing out. And it stinks, doesn't it? But do you get out of the car and clean your shoes? No, you don't. You carry on. You carry on until you get to your destination, and it's off with the shoes and bang it against the wall. The stuff goes flying everywhere. It ends up in your hair and on your face. Oh, it's horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. It happened to me, was it last week it happened? It must have been in the snow. And that's the other thing. In the snow, and you notice in the snow, you should notice more where these little items are on the ground, because it shows up, doesn't it? You got this beautiful white snow, and there, that bit by the tree's all yellow. Well, you know what that is, don't you? Oh, how vile. Anyway, I got to work last week, and I could smell it, so I had to immediately get some paper, and you have to get it off like that, and be so careful, because apparently, I don't know about dog dirt, but cat dirt, it contains an awful lot of very nasty things. Does anyone know anything about that? Is it the dog stuff as well, or just the cat? And if it's only the cat, then why is that? That rhymes, doesn't it? I could be a poet. If it's only the cat, then why is that? Do join in by email. All information is greatly received. The email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I've got a really itchy nose and nothing to blow it on. Oh dear. Do you mind a minute? Can I get a tissue? I've got to get a tissue. My nose is driving me mad. 1 minute. Back in a minute. Don't go anywhere. Stay right there. I'm back. Oh dear me. Suddenly my nose has started running. Can you hear it? Oh. Oh, it's like a trumpet now, eh? We could possibly form a whole orchestra with people blowing their noses. You're not supposed to. Actually, you're not supposed to blow your nose, are you? Right, email address chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I shan't be almost revealing anyone's address this week either, like I did on the last show with Suko's parcel. Did you see that? Nearly revealed her address. Anyway, back to the snow story. So I noticed my black trainers downstairs, the bottom of them I think are probably completely smooth, because I put those on to walk up to the shop the other day. What a hard job that was. Caught in that snow, I was nearly going over. I found, actually, and even on the slush, which, you know, the other trainers don't slip at all. You know, the slush when the snow is turning to water. Even on that, these trainers were going all over the place. I could have damaged my little self. Would you have come to visit me in hospital? Would you? Would you have come to visit me in hospital if I've damaged myself? I bet you wouldn't, would you? Mind you, if I fell over, I mean, it wouldn't make too much of a dent on the ground. If, on the other hand, James Dean from matineeshow.co.uk, he's the podcaster who does the show that plays show tunes, and he has a little bit of a chat, and his friend, the old dear Madam Aries. Oh my God, she is old. Dear me, you've never seen or heard anyone as old as her. Have a look at the photos, matineeshow.co.uk. All right, the Matinee Show, yes. Very. I mean, if he goes over, God's sake, you know, it'd be like a crater. Someone will have thought a meteorite had landed at night and it'd be this great big hole in the ground. And you'd know it was him because it would be surrounded by crisp packets. And, you know, chocolate, Americans, candy bars. Candy bars. Do you want some candy bar? We call them the sweets. Sweeties, yes. Chris has got lots of sweets in his pockets today for his listeners. And I shall be dishing them out later on. Eventually I got to the shops, of course. And I don't know why, but I had this stupid idea in my head that if I bought a lot of shopping, it would make me heavier, so on the way back I'd be more stable. What a stupid thing to buy. Number one, I did do that. I did buy lots of shopping. Number two, I had very aching arms when I got back and I wasn't any more stable. Never mind. So that was that. And then the day after, it looked to me like some of the snow had gone. So I thought, I'll cycle into town today. Oh, that's even worse than walking. I tell you that now. It's dreadful trying to be on a bike and stay upright in the snow. Anyone ever tried it? Oh, dear. Nightmare. There were parts where I just couldn't do it and I had to get off the bike and push it. And then it's even more hard work, isn't it? Terrible. But I didn't go. I'm quite pleased that I didn't go over. So there we are. It's actually, I mean, you know, sometimes when you see people fall over, I mean, I do have to laugh. I'm sorry. It's very bad, isn't it? You know, when you see someone walking along, over they go. It was like that at a club once in London. I'm going back about 12 years ago. Club was called Turnmills. And it was in kind of I think it was East London. Not too far away from the Thames. Farringdon, that was it. Farringdon in London. And I used to go there every Saturday night with a friend. And there were a lot of people who got really drunk in there. And I'd be dancing. I would go in there and dance for about 8 hours non-stop. And there were these stairs. Okay, we're only like 1, 2, 3 steps down. That's it. From like one level to the dance floor. And these stairs were by the side of the wall. And at one point, I think in the early days, this venue did not have air conditioning, or the air conditioning that they have didn't work. And it used to go so hot in there, and the condensation would be dripping off the walls onto, of course, the floor. And after a few hours, these steps were atrocious. They were like a death trap. And me and my friend, at the time I used to get drunk as well, me and my friend, both off it, we used to stand, I shouldn't tell you this, we used to stand at the top of the stairs and watch people as they put one step down, because all these people were drunk. It was dreadful. Oh, it was a shocking club. Absolutely shocking what went on in there. We used to stand at the top of the stairs and watch people put a foot down those steps and they would go flying down. We're not just talking about 1 or 2 people. Most people ended up on their bums on the floor. Oh, it was hilarious. We stayed there for 2 hours watching these people. No, stop it now. You mustn't laugh at other people's misfortunes. I mean, it's different if someone falls over and dies. That's not funny, is it? But when these people are falling over, certainly in the snow, I find it hilarious. I have to turn the other way, dear. I have to turn the other way. And anyway, I got into town. And we got a little Marks and Spencer's Simply Food place in town. And they do the best food in there. I mean, they really do. I've never, ever had to take anything back there. Now, the shop has only been there a couple of years. I can't remember if I mentioned this in a previous show. But they were telling Marks and Spencer's are going to close down a lot of these shops, the ones that aren't making enough money. And I got in there, and a lady on the till. She's about 50, 55. Lovely lady. She always got time to talk in there. But the thing is, the difference there is that the staff talk to you as if we're having a conversation, like you and me, like we are now. When you go into Sainsbury's, it's like, are you having a good day, sir? And it just sounds like they're reading it off a blooming script. They've been told to say this. When I talk to the lady in Marks and Spencer's, it's a genuine conversation. And I said to her, do you know if you're closing yet? And she looked at me, sad eyes, and I thought, oh no. She said, yeah, I'm afraid they're closing this one. We're just waiting for a date now. I said, oh, you're joking. He said, is there nothing I can say? And she says, no, she says, there was a petition going around, not actually in the shop itself. But she said, waste of time signing it now. They've decided to close it. We're just waiting for a date. And that's just such a shame. The quality of the food in there is really very... And it's not overpriced. It's not overpriced at all. I mean, they were doing beef lasagnas in there last night, one of my favourite meals. And they were... I think it's a little beef lasagna. So big, you know, enough for... Well, certainly enough for me. Probably enough for 2 ladies to eat. Okay, 2 in a packet. The blokes like me are always big fat pigs, aren't we? Yeah, I mean, sometimes I look at these little packages and it says, serves 2 to 3. I think you're having a laugh, ain't you? 2 to 3, dear? That's 1 meal for me, love. God's sake. Serves 2, serves 2/3. And then you look. What, 3 mice, maybe? Anyway. So, I mean, the food is superb, and it's closing. And I'm just so distraught at that, because, first of all, of course, Waitrose, you remember this? Those of you that have been with the show for a long time, you will remember I used to do most of my shopping at Waitrose. But the thing is, people used it as a corner shop. Because, yes, it was a large supermarket, but they have a very, very large Sainsbury's at the top of the hill. So... as soon as the Sainsbury's opened, people went there, and people were just using Waitrose as a corner shop. And most people were like me, and maybe once every couple of days would have a little basket over their arm, dear. Oh, yes. That's what I like to do that in a super. I have a little basket over my arm, placing items in there. Oh, I love it. I love supermarkets. Love them. But I like some more than others. And I used to love Waitrose. And again, it was the personal touch you had in there. You could have conversations with the people at the tills, assuming, of course, there's no queue, in which case if there's a queue behind me, I always go as quickly as possible, out of respect for the other people in the queue. Although a lot of women, and it's usually, I'm sorry, ladies, it's usually you lot, you sit there, and they do it in a blooming post office. Oh, it's so annoying. There's a queue, 20 people long, I told you about the bloke in the post office, didn't I? Miserable git ears. Oh, he's bald and he's got glasses. He's probably about my age, actually. Maybe a little bit older. He is as miserable as sin. Miserable as sin. And you get these women come up there and it's their turn next. So they buy their 1 stamp, for 26 pence or whatever it is now. 34 pence, I don't know. And then they have a conversation about their blooming babies. Get on with it, dear. We're all waiting. So if there's a queue behind me, I always move on as quickly as possible. All right, see you tomorrow, bye-bye. And it carries on like that. So Waitrose went November 2007. Okay, so it's gone a while now. And now Marks and Spencer's is going. And they really are, in the UK, the 2 really good quality, what I would call quality stuff in there. Really quality stuff. The next one after that, I suppose, would be Morrison's. This is only in my opinion, okay? I put that at the scale. At the top for food quality, Marks and Spencer's, followed by Waitrose, followed by Morrison's, and then the rest continue underneath. Asda, my favourite supermarket, the quality's fine, but it's not up there with the Marks and Spencer's and the Waitrose, And Asda, as you know, is my favourite supermarket. But now Marks and Spencer's has gone as well. And I'm just a little bit distraught at that, really. I do like their stuff, but what can you do? I have now found out that the old Waitrose site, which has been empty now for year and a half, about a year and a half, it is going to become an Audi. A-L-D-I. Now, I don't think I've ever been in an Audi. I can't remember now. There's a couple of those, and these are like really cheap supermarkets. So it remains to be seen how that is. Sorry. Where's see that? Has anyone got experience with Audi here in the UK? If you have, let me know. It's Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. And on the subject of supermarkets, I am now coping quite well with the Sainsbury's self-service checkout thing, where you go there and you do your items all yourself. Not having any more problems there, I'm pleased to announce. In fact, there was an elderly gentleman next to me the other week, and he put his basket down and he says, right, what do I do? What do I do? I said, well, you have to press that start now. I said, and he had his own bag. And that always throws the machine, you see. If you've got your own bag, it throws the machine completely. So he's put his bag down. He's pushed the start now button. He said, there is an unexpected item. Please rescan the item. And I said, oh no. And then another button come up, says using your own bag. So you have to press that, and that cancels that speech that the machine makes, and then you carry on. So I said, no, you've got to push that if you've got your own bag. Oh, thanks very much. And then it didn't. I said, what do I do now? I said, you've got to scan, put your item over there where the little barcode is. So he's doing this and that. And then he had a bottle of, I mean, this bloke was about 68, I would say. And then he had a bottle of spirits, and he scanned that over, and immediately it says, please wait for assistance. Because when you do that, you see, it could be some child trying to buy alcohol, so the assistant has to come over and push some buttons so that you're allowed to buy it. Oh, dear me. I mean, you would have thought they got some sort of face recognition thing, wouldn't you, to see your age? And perhaps a computer, you know, a little camera on the side of a computer, and it could count the lines on your face to tell you what age you are. Unfortunately, you know, it would probably think I was about 6 years old, because there's no lines on my face at all. Not even when I squint. Look, no lines at all. So there we are. So I'm now, so on the Sainsbury's itself, I think I should be standing there, actually, assisting people with their purchases. Hey, what do you reckon? I like this. I like the sound of that. All right, so there's my little supermarket thing. We talked about me cycling in the show. Don't try it. It's very, very difficult cycling in the show. Snow, not show. Show, snow, show. And last week, I have at last ordered my new audio computer. At last. Yes. I'm really sorry to tell the Apple fans, it's not an Apple. It's another PC. Those of you with technical minds, it's Vista, again. Now, there's been a lot of discussion about Vista on the internet, and it's awful and everything. I have to tell you, my video computer, the computer that records the film for YouTube, Blip TV, Current TV, and Google Video, and of course Facebook. By the way, if you want to join me on Facebook, please feel free to do so. It's Chris. Type in Chris Reardon London. Chris Reardon London, and I'm sure you'll find me there. Okay, Chris Reardon London. The video computer is running Vista. My laptop that I use to play out my music when I'm DJing or doing anything else, doing a karaoke, and that's Vista. I have had no problems with them, so I don't know why so many people are having problems with Vista. I have had no problems whatsoever. The new computer, however, those of you that technically know how, is a quad processor. Now, I can't remember I think it's 2.3 gig quad processor. It's 6 gig of RAM. It's 1 terabyte on the hard drive, but slightly different Vista, and I didn't think it would make any difference until a friend pointed out that I may have trouble getting drivers for things. But the only drivers I would need, what are drivers? Oh, little Joy is wondering what drivers are. Drivers, Joy, are things, they're like lots of, like, they're kind of like mini programs for the computer that make anything you plug into it work properly. So I only have plugged in really a webcam and a printer. Sometimes I plug my digital camera in, so that might need drivers. What else have I got plugged in? There's the modem that communicates with the internet, but that's on the Ethernet cable. So, and that's about it. A couple of hard drives. So I think that's all I've got plugged in there. So I'm hoping I don't have too much problem. But as you can hear, a very high specification machine. The reason it's so good, I'm sorry, I tell you why I'm chewing away here, because I've just bitten a bit off my thumb and I'm eating it. Do you do that with your skin? Oh, I really do belong in the gutter, don't I? Hey, do I belong in the gutter, lovey? Now, where was I? So I've just got those few bits plugged in. So the other two Vista machines are 32-bit. The new one will be 64-bit. Now, my friend, which actually makes it a higher specification than the one I bought last year just to do the videos. Now, my friend Ben, who lives just down the road, he reckons because the other computer is a higher spec, then I should move that across and use that to do the videos and use the other one that I bought last year to do the sound. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do now. You see, the other one is now set up to do the videos and it works perfectly. So I'm a bit, I don't know what to do about that. But there we are. The new computer has been ordered. It's a Dell. And get this right. I ordered it on very early Wednesday morning at about 1 o'clock in the morning while I was round my friend's house, Ron. Did it all online and everything. It's taken me 6 weeks to order this computer. I kept humming and hawing until he said to me, "Oh, for Christ's sake, buy it." And another couple of people have said, "Go on, you had a bit of a rough year at the beginning of the year. Treat yourself." So I have done. So I have treated myself, and it's on its way from Dell. Get this right, they gave me a delivery date of approximately the 16th of February, and it's probably because business is bad for everyone at the moment, including the computer manufacturers. On Saturday, I got a phone call to say we'd like to deliver it Monday, which is only 5 days after I ordered it. So that's fantastic, isn't it? That's fantastic. So, of course, that will be arriving probably in the next couple of days. And then, of course, we got the whole thing of having to configure the thing and get it all prepared and what have you. But there's no rush. This one's working perfectly fine at the moment. So, you know, as and when it's ready. So there we are. New super duper computer. Much faster than the one I've got now, because the one I have now is getting rather slow. It's quite old. Again, for those of you with technical knowledge, the audio computer, right, only has 512 meg of RAM in it. And I can only upgrade to 1 gig. So I'm going from 1 gig to 6, which is fast. And, of course, the hard drives as well. They're all smaller. I did think about upgrading this, but, you know, by the time... what bit do you upgrade? Everything in it is 5-6 years old, so it's probably pointless. So, new computer on the way. Right, let's get onto the emails. Where I worked on my birthday, I walked in there on... it was Thursday night, wasn't it, my birthday? Thursday night. I walked in there on Thursday night, and they'd done me balloons. There was balloons all around the pub, and I had a nice chocolate cake. So that was very nice. The people at the Two Brewers who sorted that in Clapham, which is actually quite a nice place. Anyone could go there, actually. You'd like it there if you ever wanted to come along. Okay? And I'm there on Thursdays. I've been there since 1999. I'm there on Thursdays and Sundays. Okay? Children not allowed, I'm afraid. You've got to be over 18. But on Thursdays there is a drag show. And basically I do some DJing early on. Then I put the show on and I do some more DJing. And then I finish at 2 o'clock. And on Sundays, they have 2 drag shows usually. One at about 9 o'clock, between 9 and 9:30, and the other one at 11 o'clock. But they can be quite blue, okay? With what they're saying. There's a bit of swearing in it. All right, just to warn you, I like to tell you exactly how these places work. But quite a clean place, very nice. And you would be comfortable there. I would never tell you, if I was working somewhere a bit dodgy, which I have done before, we all take jobs, you know, a job's a job, doesn't matter where it is. But if it's dodgy, I don't mention it. If I think you'd be all right there, then I'll tell you. And you'd be okay there. That's the Two Brewers, Clapham High Street. Thursday nights I do there, 10 till 2. Not always that busy on a Thursday. And Sunday nights I'm there as well. That's a long shift between 8 and 2 o'clock in the morning, okay? Right then, on to the... nearly forgot. Thank you so much for those of you that have taken the time and trouble to visit a new YouTuber podcaster, Fizzer Sup. That's F-I... If you want to have a look, it's youtube.com/Fizzer Sup. F for father, I, S for sugar, S for sugar, A, S for sugar, U, P for Peter, okay? Fizzer Sup. He's doing YouTubes. A lot of you have now visited his YouTube site and given him some nice comments. So please do that, all right? Young lad, trying to do what I'm doing, basically. And he's doing all right. He's actually doing all right. He's picking up some regular viewers now, which is a nice thing. So give him a chance. Only a young lad, 14 years old, needs encouragement. Please give it. Once again, it's www.fizzersup. That's F for father, I, Z, Z, or ZZ if you're in USA, A, S for sugar, U, P for Peter. And after I did my show in the shirt and tie, was that 2 shows ago? I think I was actually going to put on a tie today, right? But I've got this mauve shirt on today. Those of you listening on the radio, you will know I have won't know I have a mauve shirt, and I wasn't sure if the purple tie would go with the mauve shirt. I'm just looking at myself on the screen in the corner. Actually, it does, doesn't it? It does go. Can I put this on? Shall we do the rest of the show with a tie on? I don't know. Oh my God! Have I just spoken for nearly 3/4 of an hour? We haven't got onto the emails yet. Anyway, one of the Fizzer Sup's videos, he done this whole thank you thing to me for assisting him with bits and pieces. Excuse me, because we've had emails going to and from where it's been kind of asking me little bits and pieces. And I said to him one of the emails, because he told me his dad works at the BBC, and I did say to him, if he, his dad, if it's a producer at the BBC, his dad has probably got a whole heap of ideas in his head to help him do shows and that perhaps he should ask his dad. The other thing, if we've got any young people watching, any of you who do podcasts or I can't get that button done up there. Anyway, could I just leave the tie down a bit like that? Does that look like quite fashionable when you have your tie halfway down? Only thing is the microphone's hiding it now, isn't it? No, I think it needs to be done up, doesn't it? That's not good. It's like a little mirror to me on the other side. I'm not very good at doing ties up, as you can see. Is it crooked? Oh, it doesn't matter, does it? Yeah. The other thing with young people doing videos or anything to do with that on the emails, you may find, and I do feel it's my job to point this out to you, especially if you're young, say under the age of certainly under the age of 15, you may find you get funny emails from strange people. We will call them perverts, okay? I'll just come straight out with it because that's what I think is best. I think you know what I mean, kids, okay? If you ever get a single email from a pervert or some sort of communication, You just give it straight to your dad or your mum. If you're with your mum or whoever looks after you. I know some of you haven't got mums and dads. I know we do have quite a lot of young people watching this programme. And I know you're not stupid, okay? A lot of adults think you're stupid and you don't know what you're doing. I don't believe that. I think you do know what you're doing. And you probably would do this anyway. But if you get any funny emails from perverts, then you just give them straight to whoever looks after you. Or I don't know. I mean, probably some of you get them and you delete them straight away yourself and it doesn't bother you. That's fine. But I do think, you know, if you get something that's a bit dodgy, give it to your parents to deal with, and they will decide, and they will know exactly what to do. Okay, you can say, "Mum, I've just got this from some man, and he wants to." You know the sort of thing, don't you? He wants to meet me or whatever. You know the sort of thing. You know exactly what I'm talking about. As I say, a lot of parents think that you're not understanding what's going on. I think a lot of you do understand. You do understand what's going on. But anything like that, just give them to your parents and forget about it and move on. All right? But Fizzer done this, Fizzer Sup, he done this whole thank you thing for me. And he had music playing in the background. I tell you what, Fizzer, you had me in tears watching that. Cheers. It was such a lovely thing to do. If I can comment, the music was a little bit too loud. You've got to watch that. It's a very, very common mistake that people who have just started doing, even the ones who have been doing it for a long time, sometimes they get the music and if you're talking over the music, they get the level wrong, and quite often the music is too high. I have to tell you, James Dean used to do that an awful lot. About 5 years ago. He doesn't do it now. And he wouldn't believe me when I told him. I'd be like, turn the music down, dear. It's too loud. I'll show you what I mean, all right? Let me play a bit of theme tune. Oh, incidentally, Fizzer, I meant to say to you, I was very impressed of your rendition of the... He actually tried to sing the theme song. And he was playing drums. I notice you have a drum kit as well, Fizzer, in your room. Can we have a little bit of that, please? We'd like to see you playing the drums, please. I'm going to give you Fizzer's YouTube address again in a minute, and you can have a look at this young lad's videos, okay? But this is what I mean by the music being too loud and talking at the same time, right? Here we go, 1 minute now. Now, you see, I'm trying to talk across the music now, and it's too loud. Right, do you see what I mean? The music was far too loud there, and you couldn't hear me. Well, and that's a very, very common mistake to make. Music, if you're talking, right, look at this, right? Let's do this again. I'm going to count to 10, okay? As I'm counting, I'll say each number 3 times, okay? So like 10, 10, 10, 9, 9, 9, 8, 8, 8. And on my fader will correspond with the number I'm saying. So you'll see roughly where your fader should be, right? Let's do it. 10, 10, 10. 9, 9, 9. 8, 8, 8. 7, 7, 7. 6, 6, 6. 5, 5, 5. 4, 4, 4. 3, 3, 3. 2, 2, 2. 1, 1, 1. And off. All right? So you notice there, you've actually got to have that music level quite low to get your voice across. If in any doubt, take it lower than you think you should be. Now, when I'm talking across music, my music goes down to about 5 or 4. A lot of people have it on 8 or 9, and you just can't hear the person talk across it. There is another thing here. A lot of people, including myself, have trouble with their ears distinguishing if there are a lot of different things coming in at the same time. You too may have the problem, anyone watching or listening to this show. So if you've got a bit of music and someone talking at you at the same time, I have trouble working out in my brain what either of them are saying. Now, I used to have this problem an awful lot in my car when I gave people lifts somewhere. And you'd have the radio on and they'd be talking to you. and I would have to turn the radio off. And I'd say, why have you turned the radio off? And I said, well, I can't hear you. Oh, okay, then I won't say anything else. All right, fair enough. The radio goes back on, and then they start wittering away again. Remember, that's our new word, wittering. We like the word wittering. Chat, 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 like that is. So I turn the radio off, because I cannot separate the radio and the voice coming in as well. And a lot of people do have that problem. I don't know if there's a name for that medical condition. If anyone knows, let me know. Chris@UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. All right, Fizzer? So keep it going. Here's Fizzer's YouTube address once again. It's www.youtube.com/Fizzer, F for father, I, S for Z, sorry, F for father. I'll do it again. www.youtube.com/Fizzer, F for father, I, Z, Z, A, S for sugar, U, P for Peter. Have a look on that. Give him a comment. Make it a nice comment as well, all right? Or constructive criticism. He likes that. If you want to try some way of helping the boy, okay? Right, let's do the emails before we completely run out of time. Dear me. I've chatted again too long. Hello to Matty, the Tasmanian Devil. He says, on the subject of listening to rappers like Coolio, of what I think they can say, I personally don't know the N-word. Okay, well, to teach you, a lot of people now won't even use the N-word when they're talking about it, which is a ridiculous situation, right? Because by me saying the word, it doesn't, you know, I am teaching. I'm not shouting at anyone or calling them names. Now, the offensive word in question, Matty, is nigger. It is a vile, vile word, and you should never call anyone that name. That is the word they're talking about. It's nigger, N-I-G-G-E-R. And unfortunately, some people use it to describe people of black skin, and it's vile, okay? However, and he says, I don't really know what it means. Okay, it is used to describe someone of black skin if you're trying to be nasty or offensive. All right, so you must not use that word. It's horrible. And it sounds... I've said before, there are certain words that have a horrible ring to them, don't they? Nigger's one, abortion. It's a horror, doesn't it? It just sounds horrible, don't you think? Anyway, he says, well, common swear words, which I can't mention in this email, they are used today. What really offends me, if it's used against me like the word puff or puffter. I personally would call it offensive if someone called me that. Now, that's interesting, Matty, because I think that's quite a nice word, puffter. Okay? It can be used to describe someone who is gay. All right, so quite often I'll call myself a puffter. In fact, all my straight mates, and I've got quite a few straight mates now since working back in straight bars, Belushi's and Hammersmith, and they come up and say, "All right, you old puffter, how are you today?" I'm more offended by the word "old" than puffter. It's true. However, it has to be said that a lot of gay people would be offended by such a word. And I don't know why. I mean, I think we're on the subject of those people that seek to be offended once again. There are people out there who look round for offence so that they then complain, oh, don't call me that. I mean, I do understand that some people are genuinely offended by that. But there are other people who go out looking for offence. I mean, they really do. Now, there was a bloke on the radio this week, a Scottish MP, right, by the name of Gordon Banks, Scottish MP, who is complaining about a TV star here in the UK, Jeremy Clarkson, who is extremely popular. He does car programmes. You might have seen him on Top Gear or something like that. And I haven't had any asthma stuff. I meant to have some asthma stuff before I started. And he called our Prime Minister, Gordon Brown, a one-eyed Scottish idiot. And, you know, and once again, the media, in particular the Daily Mail, as usual. Now, I used to like the Daily Mail, but quite honestly, I'm getting a bit sick to death of it. Because they are jumping on the bandwagon of trying to look for people that might be offending something else, and then they blow it out of all proportions. And this bloke, Gordon Banks, he's come out. I'm sorry, dear Gordon, you're just a little bit offensive. Jeremy Clarkson did not say all Scottish people are idiots. He said Gordon Brown is a one-eyed Scottish idiot. What is your problem? Why, why are you offended? Why are so many people now offended? What has happened to your sense of humour, Gordon Banks? Because quite frankly, if you were down here, I wouldn't vote for you. I want someone with a sense of humour. Get off your high horse and stop being so blooming sensitive. You silly little man. You are a silly little man. You really are. Stop complaining all the time, people. What on earth is wrong with you? Huh? People are constantly, but they are out there looking to be offended. Get off your high horse. I'm not offended by the word puff. I like it. I'll tell you one word I do hate. Homosexual. I think that's a horrible word. Isn't it? That goes along the same lines as abortion and nigger in my books. It really does. I hate that word. Homosexual. Gay's all right. I prefer puff. But we all like, what a conversation. But we all like to call ourselves different names, don't we? There was a name, what was the other one? There was a name when people found out you were Catholic. I can't remember what was that. But, Christian. So I'm a Bible bashing puff. Yeah, I hold on to my religion. Absolutely, yeah, Catholic. Okay? It gets difficult sometimes. With the whole religious thing, I am, as you know, Catholic, Christian. We're all in the same boat. Christian are the Church of England, the Methodist. We're all kind of loosely connected together, as you know. But and I'm a bit of a traditional Catholic, and sometimes I am a supporter of the Pope. But sometimes the Pope comes out with some things which are a bit anti kind of gay, and I find myself in a very, very difficult position. Very, very difficult position. Because you don't know, on one side you've got, there you are, and believing in God, and now and again going to church, not as much as I should, but I do. Singing the hymns and loving to pray and all this. And then he comes out with some stuff, and the last Pope didn't really. This one keeps coming out with stuff, and you're like, oh, why did you say that? Does it make me hate him? No, not at all. Not at all. I support the Pope. But sometimes he comes out with things, and I think, oh, where am I standing on this? And my mind kind of closes to it. Do you understand what I mean? It can be a bit of a difficult situation if you are of a religion and your religious leader comes out with like anti things like that. It's very, very difficult. But yeah, going back to that guy, Gordon Banks, a Scottish MP, don't be so sensitive, lovey. I mean, you're a grown man now. It was supposed to be just a little bit of fun. Get off your high horse and get a life, all right? And that goes for anyone else who's offended by little comments now and again that aren't offensive at all, but you try and blow it out of all proportions. And it's the media that is mostly to blame for this. It really is. Back to Matty's email. I can't believe I haven't even done one email. The next show will have to be another email catch-up programme, all right? He says, also, I do not like the sound of the word either. What, the word puff? Okay, I mean, that's fair enough if you don't like it. But that's my opinion. He says, I used to be called Gonzo in high school. I don't know what that means, Gonzo. What does that mean? I don't know what Gonzo is. Didn't really like that word either. And sometimes my brothers call me Pat or Matilda. Oh, I'm sorry, Matty. That's a great... Matilda. Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda. We'll come and waltzing Matilda with you. Is that what they call it? That's great. I love it. Matilda. They used to call me Lady Bracknell. Yeah, Lady Bracknell, because that's where I live. He says, I also like to get them back. I've called my brother the Mona Lisa. Why doesn't he smile much? The famous painting. Love it. Mona Lisa. La 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 la. Mona Lisa. Love it. They say, what they say in most films and movies, like in cartoons, The Family Guy, The Simpsons, Beavis, Butthead, South Park, all those shows, some people can look for offence in some of those TV shows, but it is different. I wouldn't get offended by hearing it on the radio or television. I mean, if someone did it to you in your face and they mean it, that's what I mean. Yes. Yes. I understand. If someone came up to me right to my face and said, come here, you puff, like that, I would be offended. All right? When it's taken lightheartedly, no offence. No offence. He said, that's what I would call offensive if it's in your face, even if it's just in an email. Oh, yeah, I get a couple. No, I don't really get nasty emails at all now. But if it's a stage play or movie, it's different. My point is, if they ban the swear words off the streets, would they ban it in movies or rude comments? Thank you very much from the Tasmanian Devil, Matty. And I'm afraid that's all I got time for today. Do join in by email, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, an email catch-up programme in the next show. Look at this lot. We'll get through them. From myself, Chris Reardon, thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye now.